Hello and welcome back to another breaking news update. My name is Jimmy Boyd and you are watching Boyd News. I want to thank you so much for tuning in today. I've got some breaking news coming out that just in the last 24 hours, it appears here that Russian forces threatened to shoot down a French surveillance aircraft. Okay, they were patrolling in international airspace over the Black Sea. Okay, this is a free international zone where they normally patrol. They were not violating any airspace or anything like that. And a Russian air traffic control system threatened to shoot down this French spy plane. Okay, so obviously, right now, what's going on over in Ukraine? Okay, Ukraine is definitely struggling right now. There are so many reports coming out at the moment that they're extremely low on ammunition, nearly almost out of ammunition. They have no artillery shells. They have no drones, barely. They have no nothing. Okay. They are falling back. They are collapsing right now. Their military is falling apart. Okay. So I'm sure there's going to be lots and lots of surveillance, reconnaissance missions going on right now because no one knows what's going to happen here. If this war comes to an end, it's not going to be a peaceful end. I'm telling you that right now. It's not going to be peaceful. Okay. This has been a very violent war from the very beginning. And the West is completely involved here, and Russia's completely involved. Okay, even if it doesn't seem like the West is like 100% in, they are. Okay, they are. So we're gonna go into this. I want to talk more about this plane potentially getting shot down because this is very dangerous. What's happening? We've got these reports coming out that Russia tried to shoot down one of these surveillance planes, or attempted to, or threatened to. Right. So let's talk about this. So France says Russian forces threaten to shoot down surveillance aircraft patrolling the Black Sea. Russian forces threaten to shoot down a French surveillance aircraft patrolling in international airspace over the Black Sea, a signal of increasingly aggressive behavior from Moscow as its invasion of Ukraine struggles to make headway, French defense officials said Thursday. So if you notice here, think about how aggressive the Russians have become towards the West. Now, I'm not trying to say that the Americans or the West are not aggressive as well, but what I am saying here is that notice the change in posture. Okay, the Russians have always kind of been a little aggressive with the West, but now it's almost like they're just becoming unhinged, where they're getting to the point where they're ready to snap, and they're ready to just go to war or whatever it might be. They don't care anymore. It's kind of how I see it. The Russian military is very aggressive, very tense and on edge. And what makes this dangerous is that's how we can go to war. When countries get to that mode like that, where they're just like, I'm not going to put up with your crap anymore. We're just going to go right to it if we have to. That's what's dangerous about this. So, a Russian air traffic control system threatened to shoot down French aircraft in the Black Sea when we were in a free international zone where we patrol, the French Defense Minister Sebastien Lecornu said on RTL radio. French military spokesman Colonel Pierre Gaudier said Lecornu was referring to an incident in mid-November that involved one of France's four giant airborne warning and control systems, or AWACS, surveillance aircraft that was flying over international waters in the Black Sea. Gaudier described the incident as unprecedented for French pilots in that region. Through a radio exchange, it was threatened by the Russians, Gaudier said. It was particularly aggressive radio exchange, he added. It's a first. Two other officials said the exchange was in English and that Russian air traffic control force said its forces would destroy the French aircraft. The officials spoke on condition of anonymity to discuss the classified details. So look at that, like just so quickly, and they were speaking in English apparently, and they were saying they would literally destroy the French aircraft. We will destroy you. When they're flying, and supposedly according to this article, we don't know all the details, right? But according to the article, they were flying in free international airspace. So, meaning it's not violating anybody's airspace or Crimea's airspace, which is technically owned by Russia at the moment. So why would they threaten to shoot these planes down? Well, obviously, even if they're off the coast of Crimea and maybe not exactly in Russian airspace, they still may be able to collect some data, and they obviously don't want to be spied on, right? Because of what's going on right now, because the French and the West, they're all collaborating together to give information to Ukraine. So in his radio interview, Lacornu said Russia is returning to a particularly aggressive posture, reminiscent of the former Soviet Union's behavior during the Cold War. The behavior of Russia in 2024 bears no relation to what we saw in 2022, and obviously, before the aggression in Ukraine, the minister said. It is explained by the fact that Russia is in difficulty on the battlefield in Ukraine. French Air Force pilots regularly patrol on the eastern flank of NATO, part of efforts by the 31 nation military alliance to boost its defenses since Russia's launched its full scale invasion of Ukraine 2 years ago come Saturday. Aboard a French Air Force AWACS flight to the Black Sea coast in January, one of the pilots told the Associated Press that they seek to diffuse any tensions if they're intercepted by Russian planes, which he said is rare. Our orders are to be, let's say, passive, the pilot, Major Romain, said. For a civilian, let's say polite. Flying high above the Black Sea coast, the French AWACS used their powerful radar and other surveillance gear to peer across the Crimean Peninsula that was seized from Ukraine by Russia and annexed in 2014. The flights can spot missile launches, airborne bombing runs, and other military activity in the Ukraine war. Russian pilots have at times made clear that they don't like being watched. So that's obviously the big problem, right? They don't want to be spied on, is what I was saying earlier. So even though these planes are not flying, directly off the coast of Crimea, or maybe not considered in Russian airspace, and it may be like free international waters for people to fly over, well, they can still spy from a distance, right? These planes have incredible technology, and that's why they're built that way. They're designed to be able to gather intelligence and surveil a certain area, to gather intelligence to give to whatever country may be at war, or the country itself is at war. It allows them to provide that information. So clearly the Russians don't want to be spied on, and this is a big problem for them because they obviously have a war going on here, and they don't want information being given to the Ukrainians. And probably, I would assume right now there's some sort of major offensive coming here. We can all feel it. It's already starting to come right now. And the Ukrainians are consistently having to fall back right now. They've got no ammunition. They've got no supplies, no nothing. They are falling back and falling back and falling back. And until they get this aid package coming from the U.S., which doesn't look like it's going to come anytime soon, this may not come until March, if it even does come. Okay, it is very much held up in Congress right now. I've been following what's going on in Congress, and that the House is extremely divided right now, especially on this issue. They are not willing. The GOP party is not willing to, allow this money to go through and go to Ukraine when there's many, many different problems going on in the United States, all at a time where the United States is heavily in debt right now, $34+ trillion in debt, and adding $200 to $300 billion of more debt every single month. So the United States does not have this money to give to Ukraine. They can just go ahead and print it up and give it to them, but it's only going to create more problems inside the United States. So they have to decide at some point, do they put Ukraine first or do they put America first? What are they going to decide on? We'll have to see. But that's going to be the latest on this news here, but very dangerous what's happening here. I've got lots of news to put out on Russia right now. Russia is definitely provoking a war right now. And we have this Steadfast Defender 2024 exercise going on, the big, humongous NATO exercise, 90,000+ troops involved right now. Something big is coming here, ladies and gentlemen. I think we can all feel it. It's right around the corner here. I really hope that nothing does happen, but we are on the verge of a major problem here. Something bad is gonna happen. So hope you're all ready. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button. And also, if you enjoy my content, please consider subscribing to the channel. Hit the notification bell. That way YouTube can notify you. So with that, I hope you all have a great day. Everybody enjoy your Friday out there. Take care and God bless, everyone. We'll see you later.